This video, I'll tell you two fascinating stories. Ripple has started a 700 million share repurchase at a price of 175 million per share, starting with a significant one from Crypto Basic. Quite remarkable, isn't it? Let me state this up front. Ripple wouldn't be taking this action unless they had complete faith in XRP, which is the foundation of their business strategy. Before I go into the specifics, I would like to ask you this. Do you recall perhaps 2 or 3 years ago, Brad Garlinghouse mentioning that Ripple had $1 billion in cash on its balance sheet? Yes, just plain old cash. Since then, that number is somewhat shifted, and I'll discuss that as well. Would you like to guess what it is? Consider whether it's higher or lower and by how much. For a moment, I'll tell you the real figure, surely. It is simply astounding. And here's another item too. The founder of Blockworks revealed that Solana and XRP might be the next in line for spot ETFs after meeting with one of the top 5 banks in the world. Yes, one of the biggest banks on the earth. How awesome is that? One of the largest banks in the world is acknowledging XRP's durability. Can you believe that? Wow. If you're listening, selecting XRP is like winning the lottery. It's becoming increasingly clear every day. This seems like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, really. People will look back 10 years from now and wish they had known what we do now. However, we are well conscious of how amazing this is right now. For me, it's one of the biggest financial boons I've ever experienced. However, I want to be honest, I'm not an expert in finance, I'm not giving financial advice here, and I'm not advising anyone to buy or sell. Make decisions based on your intuition and always do your homework. Okay, let's get started on this fascinating news. Ripple recently took a significant step. A $700 million tender offer to repurchase stock from shareholders at an astounding $175.00 per share has been revealed. Jeremy Raper, an investor, provided information regarding including an email he got about the offer from Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. Quite crazy, isn't it? The email claims that this offer demonstrates Ripple's solid financial standing and ambitious expansion goals. The tender offer will finish on Wednesday, July 9th, after opening on Tuesday, June 10th. It is managed through the NASDAQ private market and is accessible to holders of suitable vested stock options or shares. And here's the worst part. The offer of $175.00 per share is a 135% premium over the latest secondary market pricing of Ripple. The last price of shares on sites like Hive was about $74.00. And let's discuss this for a bit. The fact that Ripple is willing to repurchase its stock at a premium indicates how confident they are in its potential worth. They obviously think it will be worth a lot more in the future, given their development and all of their recent success. The exciting part is that XRP is at the heart of it all. Consider this. Ripple wouldn't be paying such a hefty premium for their stock if they didn't think that XRP had a promising future and the ability to appreciate in value. Although Ripple's business discretion is broadening, it still mostly depends on XRP's long-term prospects and performance. When you consider the wider picture, it's such a clear tier to stop. To be honest, watching all of this unfold is kind of fantastic. Take a look at this. Ripple is demonstrating a great deal of confidence in its expansion. In contrast to its January offer, which was priced at $125.00 per share, the business recently raised the amount and price of its stock repurchase. It's a significant move. It becomes much more intriguing at this point. Ripple has $3.7 billion in cash on hand, according to internal correspondence. Yes, you read correctly, $3.7 billion. The sum that CEO Brad Garlinghouse mentioned a few years back is around 4 times that amount. Even more astounding is the fact that Ripple has 41 billion XRP on its balance sheet and no debt. To put it briefly, Ripple's finances appear to be in excellent shape at the moment. The market value of Ripple's XRP holdings is around $94.6 billion or $47 billion if a 50% discount is applied. Let's face it, you have to discount it. I'm not arguing that 50% is the ideal amount of discount. Why? Because you cannot simply take the complete notional value of Ripple's XRP holdings at face value if you're attempting to determine the company's actual worth. This is the offer. The price would plummet even if Ripple made a decision to dump all of its XRP as quickly as possible, which is not feasible given that the XRP is released from escrow at a rate of 1 billion each month. Participants in the market are aware of this. Although the XRP may be worth 94.6 billion on paper, they would never receive that amount if they sold it all at once. To have a better understanding of the current value of such holdings, you must apply a discount. Although I'm not certain of the precise percent, I imagine there may be a larger discount involved. To be honest, they're doing exactly the right thing. XRP will be sold progressively over several decades. In this manner, they will eventually own nearly nothing, yet the market. Occasionally, they will probably increase in value over time, particularly as XRP's value rises. Considering all of the variables they must take into account when making their choices is fascinating. Oh, and here's a fascinating fact. Ripple still has 36.2 billion SRP in escrow, but the remaining funds are free to spend. Ripple's solid financial position is creating a stir. They apparently earned over $1 billion, 0 cents in EBIT, profits before interest and taxes, last year, and they have 600 million in other investments. With 141 million shares in circulation, that represents a respectable level of operational profitability. Their balance sheet alone could sustain a share price above $350, 0 cents at $175, 0 cents per share, even with conservative projections. The estimated value of Ripple is $25 billion, 0 cents. Although that is a price, it demonstrates their optimism for the future. It could be significant if Ripple ever chooses to go public, which they most likely won't do anytime soon. Here's the problem though. They have a ton of money. What's the rush then? Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, has even stated in public that raising more money is the goal of going public. Furthermore, Ripple is not currently experiencing that issue. Without the additional money, they are already well positioned to continue expanding. I continue to believe that it will eventually occur. You can always discover ways to get more done with more money if you're clever about it. And there are a lot of intelligent folks on that squad. So yes, I think that will occur. Even $175, 0 cents suddenly looks like a premium. What would happen if Ripple's value increased to $1,000, 0 cents, or much higher in the future? It's not impractical. Ripple has caused quite a stir in the cryptocurrency industry, and to be honest, not much money's moved into the space yet in comparison to what might happen in the next 10 or 20 years. In hindsight, this might seem to be a very wise decision. It will be fascinating to see how many individuals actually take advantage of this in the end. To be honest, I believe that many investors are aiming much higher, but I'm sure some will. Although it's a nice premium and an opportunity to make some money, I'm willing to wager that many of them are patient because they see the wider picture. But who knows? It will undoubtedly be fascinating to observe. It's entertaining to imagine, but I doubt we'll ever know the exact figures unless they leak. Former Ripple employee Sean McBride wrote this intriguing post. He expressed some quite intriguing ideas, according to his latest tender. Offer. Ripple is worth an incredible $30 billion, 0 cents. The biggest initial public offering IPO in history might occur if Ripple went public, which they aren't doing at the moment. Unreal, huh? Consider what it would look like in the future, particularly with XRP at its core. Watching that would be an amazing experience. In relation to XRP, here is yet another noteworthy development. Blockworks Group co-founder Jason Janowitz recently shared observations from a discussion with a top 5 bank. He believes that in addition to Bitcoin, Solana and XRP may be the next in line for spot ETFs. After discussing cryptocurrency with a top 5 bank, Janowitz gave an intriguing update. He said the bank separated the cryptocurrency industry into 2 categories, the top 4 and, well, everything else. And you know what? XRP is among the top 4, the select few and the clear victors. Now that's how they perceive it. The fact that XRP is now widely accepted is significant. I'll say it again since I've said it before. We're just waiting to see how much bigger and better things will get. XRP has already won and the foundation is strong. Adoption is obviously on the right track and is not only steady, it's accelerating. With a more fair playing field and regulatory clarity finally in the US's future, the momentum is obvious. Take a look at all that has occurred lately. It's amazing. XRP has a more promising future than ever before, and things will only grow better. Yano's post can be found here.